Hello everyone, this is Genuine Polish, and welcome to this video update for the Glossy Drecko plastic farm. So a user commented on my last video, Frik Na. They said that it's a good idea, but it's not as compact as possible. And I was thinking, how would you make this farm more compact? Because you want the maximum stable size for maximum population, which is true unless if you have a separate breeding and a separate harvest room. We're going to be going over the tamed version and the wild version, which both of them have pros and cons. This farm consists of two rooms, the upper breeding room, which we are going to use the water tile to make this room as big as the cavity next to it. So you're not going to get overcrowded or cramped conditions for the Glossy Dreckos. And so this room is really limited by the size of the room that you choose, the amount of mealwood you plant in the room and the size that you choose to make it. You can put an incubator in this room if you'd prefer, or you can have some other method of delivering Glossy Dreckos back up here. And then you'll have an auto sweeper to sweep the eggs and deposit them in this room. And if you'd like, you can have a solid filter to separate the phosphorite and the rot and the mealwood, so it doesn't end up in this chamber down here, or you could just have the conveyor loader selected to only critter eggs. So an important thing to go over about this room real quick, you cannot have a tile adjacent to the water tile. For whatever reason, it allows them to exit the room, so just make sure that there's a gap here. And now we're going to go over the harvesting room. So you'll want to fill up this room with hydrogen first, and then you want to put the shearing station in there. And I like to surround it with water airlocks because, as we discussed, Dreckos won't cross water tiles. So it'll prevent them from being at the top of the room, and it just makes it easier and quicker for the rancher to shear them. So, of course, you will need a grooming station in the adjacent room so that you can use the shearing station, and always use an atmosphere suit dock so that way you don't have a duplicate exhaling and breaking your water locks. It's just a big mess and it's not worth it. You could also place an incubator down here if you prefer, to speed up the incubation times, or if you want a more hands-off approach, you can just leave it be, and basically the auto sweeper will take care of the rest. You just have to make sure that the population in this room is maintained at what you want. So now we're going to go over the wild farm. So the big difference between the domesticated and the wild farm is the time investment. This farm takes approximately 90 cycles at a minimum to set up, because it takes 90 cycles for a wild Glossy Drecko to reproduce. But the nice thing about this room up here is not limited by anything. So you can have as many Dreckos in here as you want. You don't need to feed them. That's the nice thing about having wild critters. And again, use the liquid gap so this room will be as big as the cavity next to it, and you can have an unlimited amount of Glossy Dreckos in here. Now for the room beneath it, this is an example of using the incubator in the shearing station room. And the nice thing about having wild Glossy Dreckos, the whole reason why you would do this is because these ones up here don't need to eat, and the ones down here also don't need to eat. And what that means is you'll get 48 harvests for these Glossy Dreckos down here versus 11 for the tamed ones, which is pretty significant. So you will have a slower accumulation of Glossy Dreckos, but they'll live for approximately 5 times as long. And once you get a initial population, ultimately this setup is unlimited versus up here, which is limited by the amount of room you have for the breeding room. And again, you can use a conveyor filter if you want to filter out the eggs from the meat. And of course, use an atmosphere suit dock. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions about this, please drop them in the comments below. If you have suggestions for other videos, drop those in the comments below as well. Please subscribe and like if you liked the video, and thanks for watching everyone.